Welcome to Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, where a new era of Mississippi State football begins today. The Bulldogs host Eastern Kentucky out of the United Athletic Conference to get things started in this Week 1 showdown in Starkville. New era, new cowbell. Take a look at what's in the upper deck here at Davis Wade Stadium, and look who is here to ring it, to kick things off. It's the former All-Conference and current All-Pro Tennessee Titan, Jeffrey Simmons. He is here to ring that giant bell to kick things off in this 2024 season. Oh, you gotta love it. This overhauled roster of Mississippi State Bulldogs, they are ready to go, so are we. And welcome upstairs, high above Davis Wade Stadium, with Charlie Strong, the former national championship winning coach, making his ESPN debut. Welcome, partner.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a good one here today. Kevin Fitzgerald with you. A lot to get to. We just mentioned it. New era of Mississippi State football. This program finished 5-7 a year ago. They made a head coaching change. In November, they hired Jeff Lebby to be their new head coach, the former Ole Miss and Oklahoma offensive coordinator. And what he brings is what we think is going to be a very highly anticipated, exciting brand of offensive football.
Well, you know what, Kevin, you look at it, it's a lot of unknowns. And you're right, it's a new era, it's a new beginning. But the excitement is because of the new head football coach here. And what Levy's going to do, he's going to bring an offense to he's going to attract everyone. And it's an offense that spreads the field where he can attack you with formations or he can attack you with personnel grouping. But the thing we can't forget is the defense. Because this is going to be a defense that flies around and is very aggressive. You know, I'm excited. I want to see this game, and I just want to see his offense.
He really has injected a great deal of energy and enthusiasm into this entire locker room. And, Coach, you just mentioned it. You look at his prior stops, all those years at Baylor. That is where his coaching journey really began. He spent the last 5 years, though, as the offensive coordinator at Central Florida, Ole Miss, not too far from these parts, by the way, and Oklahoma the last couple of years, where you see the numbers. He led a top 15 offense nationally each of those 5 years. Who takes the reins at quarterback? Remember, Will Rogers, the record-setting signal caller, he's gone, moves on to Washington. Blake Shapen is the man that Jeff Lebby and this staff, Coach, went into the portal, a highly productive QB out of Baylor, to run this potentially electric offense.
Well, the good thing about Shapen is that he knows the offense, and he's been in the system, and I think that's what Lebby was looking for, someone who's been in the system.
He just saw Walt Wells, the fifth-year head coach of this Eastern Kentucky team. First ever meeting, first time they've ever played a football game here at Davis Wade Stadium. And here we go. Been a lot of anticipation, and we are going to see what this largely overhauled Mississippi State roster looks like. And, Coach, we are very quickly going to get our first look at the redshirt senior from Shreveport, Louisiana. He spent the last 4 years at Baylor. 22, he was their starting quarterback. Last year, he was the starter, and injury limited him to about 8 games or so, so he hits the portal. This is a fresh start for a very experienced QB.
A big-time fresh start for him, and he himself is looking forward to it.
Passed for nearly more than 5,000 yards in his 4 years at Baylor. And he guns this one over the middle to get things started. It's off the hands of his receiver. That was the tailback, Kevon Lee, and incomplete. But this is the speed you can expect Jeff Lebby's offense to largely run at. They want to move. It will be an accelerated pace. They want to snap it quick. To the outside this time, it's Jordan Mosley. That's the redshirt junior, third year at Starkville. Some high expectations for him this season.
Well, the corner gave him enough cushion where he could throw the hitch route outside, and he was able to complete it.
So 1st and 10, Shapen floats one down the sideline. Mosley's got it. He's got a step and a touchdown. 3rd play of the season, and Mississippi State finds the end zone.
Okay. Kevin, if you look at it, the ball is going to be thrown deep, and that's a part of their package. And they like to work one-on-one on the corner to the boundary and make the big throw. That's J-Mo, a guy that everyone's been talking about, and look at the play he just made.
What a statement to make. 30 seconds into the season. Mosley is going to be one of the starting wideouts this year, stepping into a larger role. Beat his man there down the sideline. And Kyle Ferry, he is back to kick the field goals and extra points this year for the Bulldogs.
Well, when you really look at it, they want to get off to a fast start.
Yep.
And we talked about this is an up-tempo offense, and look at what just happened. I mean, there's a fast start, a big throw, and a big catch, and a touchdown.
So you just heard from our head referee today. That's Wayne Winkler. Coach, they're just going to check to see if he didn't step out of bounds here.
Board,
very close, yeah,
it's
maybe.
Close.
Yep.
It's close.
Looked like the heel of the foot there might have stepped out at about the 4-yard line.
I think maybe he had a little inch over there where he had enough room to.
And if you're Mosley, on the 3rd play of the season, you don't want your touchdown taken away.
But you think about Mosley, just think about last season, he didn't play a lot, Kevin, and then look at what he just does. You know, here he is, he gets a big play there and get a touchdown early.
Watch
here
right
it is
there.
right here. I think he has enough room. I don't think he stepped out.
Here's what's critical here. We have to have a definitive illustration that he was indeed out of bounds.
Yes.
Touchdown. So it's Chapin to Mosley on the 3rd play of the season for Mississippi State.
Okay.
And it's 7-0.
Well, you look at the receiver at the top, and it's nothing but he just takes off and just runs past the corner. The corner eyes were inside, so it's bad eyes by the corner. But do you have enough speed at wide receiver? You should keep your eyes on the receiver. The corner gets called inside. Their safety doesn't get over the top, and then there's a big play and a touchdown.
His coaching staff all camp was praising the work that Jordan Mosley, this redshirt junior from Mobile, 3rd year of the program, had put in and what he was capable of potentially doing here in this offense.
But anytime you get in a situation like, you got to get your hands on these receivers, because that's going to be an issue, because these guys can run, and you got to slow them down somehow and try to be physical at the line of scrimmage.
So what a start for Blake Chapin, who again was very productive in his 4 years at Baylor. But when he hit the transfer portal, he was looking for a system that he could really thrive in. Jeff Levy called him, what, a day after he hit the portal. And in Levy's terms, he said Chapin had mentioned him. I was waiting for this call. He knew how prolific the offense was capable of being this season. So Latham that time takes the kick to the 20-yard line. Meanwhile, on the other side of the football, Coach, we've got another first-year veteran transfer starting quarterback that takes over for a record-setting guy in Parker McKinney. It's Matt Morrissey, big, strong, 6'4", fifth-year senior who transfers in from Western Illinois, gets the start in game 1.
Yes, and the thing they like about him, he's got a big arm and he can really release the ball down the field, but he is not as mobile, so it'd be interesting to see how Mississippi State defends him.
Eastern Kentucky went 5-6 last year, finished near the top of the UAC. This is Josh Carter, the tailback. Good coverage that time after a game of 2 as Bryce Pollock, the cornerback who lost his helmet, So he'll have to sit down for one play here. But you'll quickly see a contrast in tempo. Carter is the tailback, the most productive player from last year's team that returns on the offensive side of the ball. Muscles ahead for 5 yards.
And you think about Carter, Kevin, he was a linebacker, and they moved him through running back.
Yeah.
And you're right, he's very productive for him. But
Third and 3 for Eastern Kentucky. And what sort of an answer do the Colonels have here after a touchdown on the third play of the game? Morrissey to Carter. He's gobbled up after a gain of 1, short of the line to gain.
you know, the thing about Eastern Kentucky is they got to be able to stay on the field, and they're going to have to convert these third downs, especially when it's third and short. Well, you look at the nose guard, and he just stuffs the center, and he plays off of him with his hands, and he makes the play. But on third down, you got to be able to convert those short yardage plays.
And it was Kedrick Bingley-Jones, another portal addition on the defensive side of the ball for Mississippi State, who made that stop. Kevin Coleman is the punt return man this year for Mississippi State. He was at Louisville a year ago where he was their primary return man. Jacob Baker with a line drive. Coleman.
The returnable.
Coleman with a whole lot of room in front of him, and then the flags come flying in. Kevin Coleman with an explosive return.
You know, Kevin, he is an explosive player, and he's going to make a lot of plays because the thing he can do, he can get on top of you on a deep defender just like right there, and he makes the cut, and he never slows down. He plants his foot and goes.
There's the personal foul at the heel, on the heels of that play on Anthony Johns. Kevin Coleman, the explosive return man, has his offense set up in great shape. Blake Shapen is back out there next. So take a look where Mississippi State is set up after the 35-yard punt return from Kevin Coleman. At the 26. Blake Shapen out for his second drive as a Mississippi State Bulldog quarterback. He's got the aforementioned Coleman. He is going to be a very dynamic addition to the offense this year. So the opening drive touchdown for Mississippi State to start the year. After 0 a year ago, they were the only team in FBS without a touchdown on an opening drive in any of their games a season ago. This is Devon Booth now, who carries that one ahead for a handful of yards. Booth and Lee will be rotated in there as the primary ball carriers today. Booth nowhere to go. And so it sets up third and short.
And you look at it, Kevin, look how fast they're going.
Yep.
You know, look where the ball is being snapped, and they are on the ball right away. And that's why you talk about just up-tempo.
Arlen Martinez, by the way, the right guard, has to come off after losing the helmet. So something like that is the only thing that maybe slows the offense down. But 3rd and 3. They can get a first down without scoring. Here comes Coleman in motion again. Shapen looking that way. Shapen improvising, touchdown.
When you look at it, red zone, the quarterback comes alive. Right there, red zone, we're in the red zone, quarterback comes alive.
You could not have asked for a better start for that duo. There's Levy in Chapin's ear. He's threw the 65-yard TD pass to Mosley previously. Now the 4-yard score on the way in on the run. So Mississippi State has a 2-touchdown lead less than 4 minutes into the game.
But all right. Well, you get an emotion across the field, and then what happens is they get them walled to one side, and Chapin just finds the open gap and goes in and score. And look how the linemen are blocking. This is a run play. They climb to the linebacker and get the backer sealed.
You said something about a fast start before, didn't you?
That's what we got. And they needed to get off to a fast start.
Yep.
And now look at the excitement right now with the fast start.
You know, it really is a fresh start. Speaking of that, for Blake Chapin. Remember, he spent the last 4 years at Baylor. He redshirted his rookie year. His second season, he takes over for the injured Jerry Bohannon deep into that season. Talk about a fine debut. He comes in, wins the regular season finale, and then wins the Big 12 championship game where he earns MVP honors. Had a really fine 22 season. Last year, though, he was limited to just 8 games due to an injury to his knee. Suffered a concussion late in that 23 season at Baylor. And so after hitting the portal, it's a fresh start for Chapin and maybe a reclamation season for him. Well, Lathan on the return there for EKU.
But even when you talk about Chapin, you think about it, he's letting it come to him. He's not pressing the game. And we would have thought with him coming in and it's a whole new system for him that he would try to press it. He hasn't done it yet. He's just letting the offense come to him.
So Walt Wells' team must respond. There's the 5th-year head coach, 2-time conference coach of the year in his 5 years as a head man in Richmond, Kentucky. Morrissey in his first start as a Colonel. Hands off to Lathan. That's the sophomore. We saw limited time last year. Expected to take on a larger role this season. A gain of 4. This Mississippi State defense, Charlie, there's a couple of starters back, but only 3 of them. That's it. It's largely a group of returning Bulldogs that are now ascending to larger roles.
And you know what? And they've given it an opportunity, and they have capitalized on it.
The anchor in the middle will be Stone Blanton this year. That's the middle linebacker, and he's wearing the green helmet, if you will. They'll have the headset communication. Another short game for Lathan. They pick up 3, so it sets up 3rd and manageable for the Cardinals.
Well, I just think it's going to be hard for them to try to knock these guys off the ball. And you just get no yards, so now it's 3rd and 3. And on 3rd down, you got it. It's key here for them to keep this drive going.
Frenzied environment here, as you would expect for the season opener in Starkville. Morrissey finds his tight end that time. That's Caleb Schlatter, who's filling in for the injured Hunter Brown, who is unavailable today.
He went out of bounds.
Oh, and is he just a fraction short? Looks like it. 4th down and inches. So an early decision for Walt Wells. With his team at their own 30-yard line. There goes the offense to the sideline.
Sends his punt team in the game.
Boy, they're just a nose short, that's all. Play clock winding down, by the way. Wells has to use the timeout. Mississippi State with a 14-0 lead. Let's take a timeout. 9:10 to go in the opening quarter. Now 4th and inches here with 9:10 to go in the first quarter. It's a 14-0 early lead for Mississippi State. There's Wells, mid-season as the head man in Richmond, 2-time coach of the year. He has piloted this program with great consistency after he took his first head coaching job.
He really has, Kevin. And you look at what he's done. 2 years ago, they went to the playoffs.
Yep.
And then, last year, he had a quarterback that's been a steady player for him, been a very consistent player for him, has been in the program now. He graduates, and you get Morrissey, but he's been able to win a bunch of games, win close games, but he's done a good job.
He is guidance of prolific offenses the last couple of years. You mentioned they lost a lot of that productivity this offseason, especially on the offensive side, losing their top quarterback, top passer, rusher, and receiver as well. So Baker is going to send this one away. Tough break for EKU as on that third down completion, Schlatter stepped out just a half a yard before the marker. Coleman returned one 35 yards his last time. And another positive punt return, this one for 14 yards. He is going to be a very dynamic player for Mississippi State this season. Let's take a moment to remind you tonight, SEC football final. It's back for another season. Darian Elka, Chris Doering, Ben Watson, they're going to take you through the biggest stories of the day. Break down every single game. Big story right out of the gates here with Vanderbilt winning in overtime earlier today against Virginia Tech.
Wow, and that was great. You know what you love, how they competed. The quarterback is a special player, and they hung in there. They got up to a big lead, and then they were able to go into overtime and win the game.
I'll see you in Nashville next week.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Company. So here's Blake Shapen. He has engineered two very quick touchdown drives right out of the chute here. As Mississippi State's new starting quarterback, Mario Craver, the freshman, breaks free. And he's finally wrestled down inside the 10-yard line.
Well,
Craver with a big play.
Well, you look out there, Coach, and it's so much cushion on the outside. They got to get up and press these receivers and not give them Craver. And the thing about Craver, he is so quick and so fast. Broke a tackle, and he gets down for a big game.
An ESPN 300 recruit out of Birmingham, but a flag is going to nullify this big play. That flag all the way back on the opposite sideline near the 45. That's the original line of scrimmage.
But Coach, you remember Davis talking about just how Craver had good of an offseason he's had. He came there in January, a 4-star wide receiver, and has done a really good job.
Shapen completed the 65-yard bomb to Mosley for the game's first touchdown. Kevon Lee to the outside. Ran out after a gain of 7.
Well, you're able to get the edge. You were able to get the ball to the perimeter. You got the edge. They were able to collapse the edge, and Lee was able to get outside.
Lee is the second-year Bulldog who has done some great work in camp. Mosley with another catch. And a bunch of yards after that catch. Sam Robertson with the tackle, but moved the sticks.
But we still think we're talking about. Look at the cushion. Look at it. And that's the free safety trying to run over the top to make that play.
So there's Mississippi State snapping it with 32 seconds on the play clock. There's a flag on the far side of the field. So a procedural penalty, that's pretty critical, just getting organized pre-snap in a very accelerated up-tempo offense.
Well, you think about his up-tempo, and the receiver didn't get set at the top of into the boundary.
So it sets up another 1st and 15. Shapen to Lee into a crowd that time, maybe got 1.5 yards.
Well, East Carolina brought an outside pressure, brought the guy off the edge, and therefore he was able to run out and collapse the play.
This Eastern Kentucky defense.
Who'd I say?
Yep. Eastern Kentucky defense was challenged quite a bit last year. Shapen out of the pocket, takes off, and picks up 10 on the play. So showing his mobility in this first quarter.
Well, you look, and the thing he's got to do is he's got to protect himself.
Yeah.
He can't take a big hit like that because he's got to protect himself, and he's got to get down.
That was Frank Lee who came flying in to drill him at the end of the play. It's a 3rd and 4 with the clock winding inside of 6.5 minutes here in this first quarter. Lee, patient, looking for the hole. He'll be short. So it sets up 4th down. So the first 4th down here for Jeff Lebby's offense, who's of course calling the plays this year for the Bulldogs. Leaves the offense out there. Chapin, quick drop back, quick throw. He's got Justin Ball, the tight end. Very close. Did he get there? And so he did not reach the line to gain. So turnover on downs. Nice stop by Eastern Kentucky right here.
When you look at it, it was just a flat route by the tight end trying to get the yardage, and a good play. The defender comes up and makes the play.
So we'll take a timeout. EKU takes over with 5:49 to go in the first. It's been a warm day in Starkville, warm weekend, a little rain falling now in this first quarter of 5:49 to go with Charlie Strong, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So, first-year defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler, who you spent last year with on Nick Saban's staff at Alabama, takes over as the DC here, his first season calling plays.
Very energetic. You know the thing he does is he does a great job of communicating with his players.
He was a special teams coordinator the last couple of years at Alabama. And so now as a first-year defensive coordinator, his coaching career started nearly 20 years ago. He has worked for some really prominent coaches over the years. He and Jeff Lebby were on the staff at Ole Miss together one season 3 years ago. And so he gave him a call and said, hey, you want to call plays, come on over. Gain of 4 on that first down carry for Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels, an FCS program that have finished near the top of their conference the last 3 years. Matter of fact, they finished 2nd or higher since Walt Wells took over as a head coach. Carter trying to bounce it to the outside, and he's wrangled down after a short gain. Isaac Smith, the sophomore, coming up to the secondary there to make the stop.
Well, you think about it, they get the ball sealed inside, so he has to bounce it to the outside, and they have enough speed to run him down.
Third and 3. Morrissey, the senior from Elmhurst, Illinois. In his first season with the program. Looks to the outside. Catch is made. That's the first down of the afternoon for Eastern Kentucky. Jacob Dixon, the sophomore, with the catch.
Well, it's a good job by the receiver. It comes across in motion, dump bubbles. Quarterback throws it out there and makes the catch and then gets the first down.
So something positive for Eastern Kentucky. That's important. That's the first time they've moved the sticks today. Morrissey with a whole lot of time is playing in front of behind a very experienced line. He was looking for Ron Van Jr., the first-year Colonel from California. That pass is incomplete.
Well, you look at that defensive back. He smothers this route, and he has nowhere to go with the ball.
Oh, that's Bryce Pollock. It's a relatively young secondary. Pollock and Kelly Jones, they earned the starting jobs at the quarterback positions, both of their second years with the program. So Morrissey hands off to Carter, straight into a crowd. Short game. So it sets up 3rd and 6. That's the freshman Cal Wise in motion on 3rd and 6. Here comes pressure. Morrissey escapes. fires. That one's caught by big receiver Dixon, but no gain on the play. The Mississippi State defense brought some heat.
Well, they brought pressure. They were in man covers. And you look at it, the corner does a good job. Jones does a good job. Here comes right here. And he gets flushed out of the pocket, and then the corner comes out and makes the play. Jones makes the play.
Kelly Jones, Mississippi native himself. He's from Clarksdale, the other side of the state. Has displayed an incredible attitude and work ethic in camp. So he takes on a larger role after playing in just 3 games a year ago. All right, here's Act 3 for Kevin Coleman. Returns of 15 and 35 yards. Bounces around a couple of tacklers. Cuts to the outside. Kevin Coleman.
Speed and quickness. Speed and quickness. Got great vision. You see him got great vision. Look at the vision here. Gets the ball, stutters, cuts, gets his foot planted, make another cutback, but it's just so much speed and quickness that it's hard for him to get him cornered, and then they end up knocking him out of bounds.
Flag at the end of the play was dropped near Mississippi State's sideline. That was a return of 45 yards that time for Coleman. My goodness, last year he was Louisville's primary return man. Then he hit the portal.
Hey, at some point you can't punt in the ball anymore.
Yeah. Talk about a fine first impression. So returns of 15, 35, and 45 yards. Now that flag on Mississippi State will bump them back to their own 46-yard line. So Blake Shapen has already engineered 2 touchdown drives. How about this? Silky smooth pass down the sideline to Jordan Mosley. 30 seconds into the season, a 65-yard strike. And then on the following drive, took it in from 4 yards out. He said he was looking for an offense where he could settle into a rhythm in. And in this electric, fast-paced offense, he could certainly do just that. Looks like the ball is loose. Off to after the pitch to Lee, who's got it underneath the pile of bodies. It was Johnny Daniels who had just checked in. Mississippi State falls on it. So it sets up second down at maybe 11.
Yes. Good job by the safety to come up. Ball is out. You know, he does a good job of putting his shoulder on the ball, and it's wet out there right now. And it's wet, so you're going to see a lot of balls on the ground.
It's now a pretty steady, moderate rain. It's picked up in the last couple of minutes. How about Shapen here getting into the action to try to push his ball carrier forward. So it's a gain of 4 for Johnny Daniels. That's a junior from Crystal Springs, Mississippi. Watch the QB come in at the end.
Well, that's me. I'm telling my quarterback, he don't need to make that launch.
Yeah.
You need to get out of the way.
3rd and 4 with the rain coming down in Starkville. Shapen flushed out. Shapen the dive. It was right near the line to gain, maybe a half a yard short. Should set up 4th and maybe a half a yard.
Well, you look at that, Kevin, that's just a coverage sack. You know, they had every receiver covered. He had nowhere to go with the ball, so he ended up scrambling.
So out comes the punt unit on 4th and 1. So first punt of the day for the Bulldogs late in the first. Nick Barr-Mira, who last year handled the kickoff duties, steps into it and fills the starting punter role. Last time he was a primary punter was at UCLA 2 years ago. This is a nice one for your first as a Bulldog. So EKU backed up right against the edge of the goal line with 16 seconds to go in the first. So remember, SEC Now has got you covered tomorrow night before and after LSU's battle against Southern Cal in Vegas. They'll get you set up. 60-minute pregame show at 6:30 Eastern, then a full postgame show afterward. Where they'll have all the highlights and complete breakdown coming your way. Another massive battle in week one. We've had some terrific battles as we finally lift the lid on this season. Georgia with an emphatic victory earlier today against Clemson. So look at where EKU is. At the one, Matt Morrissey, halfway deep in his own end zone. Latham barges ahead for a pickup of 6, so it gives him a little breathing room. Nice carry there for Latham.
Well, Coach, what you like to do here, anytime you get backed up like this, you want to get 2 first downs just for field position. Then if you have to punt, at least get it out of there.
So 1 quarter in the books. This new era of Mississippi State Bulldog football is underway. Blake shaking the offense. They've generated a couple of scores, 14-zip after 1 in Starkville. Yeah, rain or shine, the cowbells, they are emphatic, aren't they? So I think our fans here forgot to bring the ponchos. The rain continues to fall.
Well, we didn't think it was going to rain, so then all of a sudden it just comes out of nowhere.
Well, football is back in Starkville. You saw the first quarter summary. Blake Shapen of the offense. 2 very quick touchdown drives, but they were set up by outstanding punt returns by the first-year Bulldog Kevin Coleman. EKU backed up deep in its own territory on 2nd and 4. They keep it on the ground to Braden Latham. Again, this FCS program in town. Mississippi State certainly the heavy favorites today in this opener.
Well, same thing, Kevin. Another 3rd and short. And you love to keep this drive going.
The EKU defense has forced consecutive Mississippi State punts. So can they pick up a first down here, keep the clock of the drive moving? Matt Morrissey, the first-year signal caller, back on the ground. Latham puts his shoulder down, nowhere to go. And the defensive front forces the 4th down. It was DeMonte Russell and Suleiman Paca that combined on the stop.
It's a great job by Russell getting underneath the tackle, winning with a one-on-one, and then look at Paca just in there. And they just build a wall. Once you build a wall, there's nowhere for the ball to go. They can't bounce it outside. They can't run it inside. Now they get another 3rd and short stop.
Coach Russell has been one of the veterans, one of the returning starters on this defensive side of the football that's been a catalyst this offseason. And the last month in camp, veteran, final season with the program. There's not much that they returned from a year ago, but Russell is a big part of what did. So there's a flag on EKU. Delay a game.
Well, you were talking about Russell, and that's the thing with him is that guys look to him for that leadership role because he's the one that played a returning starter. He's a returning starter from last year.
All right, so what does the Kevin Coleman show have for us next? 3 punts, he's totaled 80 yards. Coleman.
He's got to the wide field. He's in trouble.
This time a short return. And he's tackled across the 50-yard line. So Jeff Levy's offense is back out there. First drive of this 2nd quarter. So he's been an offensive coordinator the last 5 years at Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Central Florida previously. And he has piloted, look at that, a top 15 offense 5 consecutive years. Look at that, 507 yards a game last year at Oklahoma.
Well, you know, when I first became familiar with his offense, I was at Texas and we played Baylor.
Yep.
And Levy's father-in-law was Art Briles, and they put up numbers like this. And it's amazing to see what he's going to do today and what he's going to do here.
He has worked with some prolific quarterbacks. Of course, Dylan Gabriel, the last couple of seasons at Oklahoma, at Central Florida before that, his rookie year. Chapin in trouble, and down he goes. So it's the first sack of the day for EKU, and it's Gabe Fletcher, a junior from Memphis, who takes him down to the backfield.
You know, that's really a good rush, and the guy beats it. You look at the tackle, just comes off and he wins one-on-one. Look at Gabe Fletcher win it one-on-one, and he beat Pounder.
Remember, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen starting this year for Mississippi State in their first year with the program. It's 4 transfers along the line. Here's Creed Whittemore. Fights for a gain of 3. So it sets up 3rd and long. So the line to gain is going to be the 37. Mississippi State that time very quick to the line. See the tight end and Whittemore motion to the opposite side. So they have 3 to the far side of the field, and Mosley on this side. Chapin steps up. He needs the 37. Chapin has got the first down. Ball is free. Question was he down, and who has it? Seydou Traore was there, looked like, to recover it. So, nevertheless, Mississippi State falls on it after a gain of 15. Yeah, it looked like it was out before he was down.
Yes. And then you don't see it, but they bring a corner blitz, and that's what forcing the run to the wide field.
And so it was Chapin who snatched it up as that one squirted free for a moment. So a timeout, and Mississippi State has got a new set of downs in plus territory on the other side of the timeout. Blake Chapin protected this year by a pretty retooled, revamped offensive line. 4 starters in their first year with the program after transferring in. There's a lot of fresh faces.
A lot of fresh faces, and you look, the only returner is Reese,
yep.
and he played last year. But you got 4 new guys that are protecting him, and they've done a good job.
Well, Reese is a familiar face. He did not start last year, so not a single starter back from last year's 5-win team. On the jet sweep here, this time it was Braylon Burnside. Another first-year rookie that his staff is trying to utilize early in the season, but there's a holding penalty here that'll back Mississippi State up.
Well, you look at it, just with their offense, you're going to get so much. You're going to get jet sweeps. You're going to attack the perimeter with short throws. You're going to throw the ball up over their head. But you know, right there, yes. So what you have is he's trying to get to the outside, and you get a holding call.
It was Pounders, the left tackle, who was a starter last year on that 10-win Memphis team. So Eastern Kentucky winds up declining the penalty to set up 2nd and 16. Blake Chapin, he's 6 of 7 through the air. Coming this way, it's Creed Whittemore. Whittemore finds the edge. Whittemore cuts back inside. Creed Whittemore, it's a touchdown from 41 yards out.
Well, you look at it, you get a reverse, Kevin, and then he's aligned into the boundary, get a reverse to the wide field. He's able to make a cut and go in and score.
Whittemore with 2 receiving touchdowns a year ago. The sophomore from Gainesville, Florida, finds the end zone here in the opener.
And that's after a 2nd and long.
Yep. So they've got a 41-yard touchdown strike, a 65-yard catch and run from Jordan Mosley. in the first quarter. It's 21-zip early in the second quarter.
Well, if you look at it, the receiver is aligned in the backfield, and then he hands it off to the other receiver. And so he's able to make the cutback. He's able to make the cutback and scores.
So next Saturday, our Week 2 SEC football lineup starts at 12:45 Eastern, 11:45 a.m. Central, when Texas A&M hosts McNeese State, and followed by 6th-ranked Ole Miss taking on Middle Tennessee State. Then Oklahoma hosts Houston later on at 7:45 Eastern. Every game also available on the ESPN app. Here's the rest of the slate. Georgia already with a win in the books earlier today against Clemson. Pretty emphatic opening week 1 victory, for Georgia.
Well, you're looking at Georgia game, and in the second half, they just dominated Clemson. And it just shows how good they are. You know, they've lost 2 games.
So Eastern Kentucky will set up shop here at around the 18-yard line. There's that final score from earlier today in Atlanta, 34-3. Pretty emphatic victory. It's a 40-game regular season win streak now for Georgia. Remember, Texas A&M is in action later today against Notre Dame in College Station. And then certainly the most significant final from the early window of games. How about Vanderbilt winning in overtime against Virginia Tech?
When Virginia Tech all these returning starters, and Vandy with Papa at quarterback just went in and played, and they finished the game.
Vandy, they missed the field goal as time expired in regulation to win. They ultimately end up stopping Virginia Tech in the first overtime and win in the extra period. Matt Morrissey guns this one over the middle. That's incomplete. He was looking for his tight end.
Well, you look at Stone Blanton, is all over that. Tight end comes in there, and he's all on top of that. Really good coverage.
How happy is this defensive staff to have Stone Blanton, the Jackson, Mississippi native, back here? He came home after 2 productive years at South Carolina.
When he committed to the baseball team.
That's right. Originally a Mississippi State baseball commit early in high school. On the ground, Latham squeezes through the hole, and that's a first down run, a carry of 11 for the sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Well, it's a good sieve play, so he gets behind his blocker. The tight end comes across the line of scrimmage, and he's able to cut off of him into a big gain.
Latham's the only returning running back with carries for this program a year ago. They lost their top tailback, Braden Sloan, to the transfer portal. Winds up going to Ball State. So Carter and Latham expected to be the primary ball carriers this year for Walt Wells' crew. Andy Richmond's the offensive coordinator now in his 5th season. He's engineered some productive offenses these last few years. Morrissey to let it go under pressure. Finds Latham, but he dropped it. Boy, he didn't have anywhere to go, even if he caught that one. That was Ty Cooper, who came flying in with the pressure.
Well, it was really good rush by Ty. Well, you look at Ty Cooper here, and he comes off, and the back doesn't block him, and he just keeps running right to the quarterback. And the back should have picked him up there.
Coleman Huxley, he seems very interested to see just how this linebacking core comes together. Cooper, Blanton, Nick Mitchell, guys like J.P. Purvis and John Lewis will get plenty of time. There's Latham again, twisted down at the 35 by Isaac Smith. Gain of 7.
Well, you go a big 3rd down, but even on 2nd down, they're still trying to get this run established. And that's 7 yards right there. Ball gets to the safety before it's tackled.
Only 2 first downs today for Eastern Kentucky. 3rd and 3. In an early hole in Starkville, down 21-zip. Man in motion to the tailback, incomplete.
The corner is just sitting there waiting. He's just sitting out there waiting on him. The ball is thrown out there on the swing pass to the run back. But 3rd down, you've got to get off. For the defense, they got to get off the field, and the offense has got to convert. They need to convert these 3rd downs to keep the drive going. But look at the corner just sitting there, just waiting for someone to come to the flat.
Mississippi State's athleticism on the defensive side of the football, it has been on display. What have you made of this retooled defense with a lot of first-year starters so far?
Well, we talked about them just, just running to the ball, and that's what they're doing a good job of doing.
Boy, Coleman, that's a line drive to the prolific punt returner. Couple of hezzies coming back the other way. Coleman on the move again. Across the 50, and that's another very impressive return. This one of 30 yards.
Hey, can we just punt the ball out of bounds?
Yeah.
Quit punting it to him.
This is a line drive right to him, Coach.
It's right to him. And you see they already got the blocking set up. He's going to go to the left, but the gunner was able to make him force him back the other way. But he's still getting blockers, and he's so fast and quick. He can make things happen. With the ball in his hands, he makes things happen.
So coming up at half, you're going to watch a live performance of the famous Maroon Band. So stick around. This one's going to be streaming at halftime right here on the ESPN app. Instruments a little wet in this first down. Hopefully they'll be ready to go. It's a short gain on first down carry. Kevon Lee gained 5, and look how quick they're going. They may snap it before this play clock hits 30. Lee fumbles ahead for about 2. Brad Gurley on the stop. So Mississippi State football fans, they're certainly familiar with high-paced offenses. Maybe the difference with this one, Coach, is the verticality.
Verticality, where they're stretching you. And they cover the whole field.
Lee, he finds the tailback, and it's going to be just short of the first down. Should set up about 4th and 1.
Well, you look at EKU does another good job. It's a coverage sack. There's nowhere to go with the ball. But now you go 4th and 1 here.
EKU a little scramble defensively. Lee coming this way. He's got a blocker. Kevon Lee cuts outside the numbers. Lost the ball.
Oh, he dropped the ball.
Who's got it, though? A couple of Colonels looked like they were the first to jump on it. And an MSU player came rolling in to try to rip it away. And is that Traore again?
For a first down.
Traore and Craver coming in at the right time to swipe that one away. They'll keep possession.
Short yardage, and he bounces the ball to the outside. He ends up dropping it, but then Traore comes in and he recovers the fumble.
That's the second time Traore has recovered a fumble today.
Yes, because when Shapen dropped it, he came in and made that recovery.
So Traore without a catch, but 2 critical fumble recoveries. So Blake Shapen trying to settle everybody down after the rain was coming down pretty hard for about a good 15-minute stretch. Shapen lost it, back corner. He's got Coleman. Touchdown.
You watch him, he makes that throw so easy. He makes it look so easy the way he releases the ball and just lays it out there and let the wide receiver run underneath it.
Felt like that one was coming. Coleman has certainly earned it thanks to his special teams productivity. There's his first receiving touchdown as a Bulldog. That's the second today for Shapen, who, by the way, is 9 of 10 through the air. He's only misfired once. And so it's another quick scoring drive for Mississippi State. Kevin Coleman.
Well, you look at him, like you said, to the house. Number one, you're watching him on punt, and he's making plays. And then he goes just running a vertical route to the outside. The corner, look at the corner eye, same thing. He runs past the corner this time. And then Shapen just lays it out there. Like I said, an easy throw. What a day. And touch it. Look at him. Look at Coleman. Return it and catch it. His numbers are unbelievable. He's an exciting player, and he's just only going to get better. And you look at this is only the first game.
5 punt returns, and he's racked up 117 punt return yards. He's got punt returns of 30, 35, 45 yards. And then his second catch of the day is good for a touchdown from 23 yards out. Look at where Chapin placed that one.
Look where he placed it. That's the thing with Chapin. And he's got enough receivers where he can get the ball to him. And he's a playmaker. They can make plays.
High expectations for the St. Louis native. He won SWAC Freshman of the Year at Jackson State. Remember, his first year was with Deion Sanders before he took the Colorado job. After that season, hits the transfer portal. Last year was a very reliable receiver in Louisville's rotation. They won 10 games last year, so he hits the portal, comes to Mississippi State to take on a larger role. He has had a featured role today.
Unbelievable. But like, you just look at his speed and quickness. You know, he's got really good hands. He's a punt returner. He's at yards don't make. He can make you miss, and he can create problems in open space.
Yeah, take a look at how quickly Mississippi State has scored. That's 4 touchdown drives, all of them at 2 minutes and 11 seconds or less. I mean, that really is something else. They've had great field position, of course, thanks to what Coleman has done in the return game. So here's the EKU offense. Josh Carter is cut down after a short game.
Well, you think about the defense. We're having these short drives, but the defense are making stops too.
Yep.
You know, because we've allowed, what, 2 first downs?
That's it.
2 first downs already, but the defense is getting the ball back, and he talked about, hey, we got to get the ball back for the offense.
Matt Morrissey, the 5th-year senior who started last year at Western Illinois, had big shoes to fill. The Colonels lost all-conference legend in a sense. He spent 6 years with the program, Parker McKinney, who led them to the playoffs 2 years ago. So it's going to be big shoes to fill. Of course, a difficult task today against the heavy favorite Mississippi State team. And there's another pressure in the backfield. This time it's Calvin Dinkins who wrangles him down.
Dinkins with the big sack right there. You look at it, saying he's doing a really good job of covering up the receivers downfield. Nowhere for him to go with the ball. The lineman gets off, makes a play, gets the sack.
3rd and 10 yards, which that's a long way to go for EKU today. Clock ticks inside 6 minutes in this first half.
This is money down, money down.
Pocket holding, Morrissey fires, has a man open deep downfield. That's Brian Johnson. So the senior from Cincinnati was open around midfield. Biggest play of the day for EKU.
Able to get behind the backer. Backers up there showing blitz. Look at it. And watch where this ball goes. In between the 2 backers, he makes the catch and falls down for a big play.
Morrissey had completed 5 passes before that. That connection of 23 yards, longest play of the day. And it's critical now as Carter loses his helmet. He has to come off for a play. It's critical for Eastern Kentucky now, especially this juncture of the game. Can it string a couple of first downs together here to build a little momentum?
Well, and keep a drive going. They ain't been able to sustain a drive yet. Just keep the drive going, and even have to, you know, just dunk the ball down. You know, hey, just check it down and just let the ball continue to move down the field.
Morrissey last year at Western Illinois, he was all right. He was solid. Started 11 games, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It was a Western Illinois team, though, that lost all of their games. They finished 0-11. This one to the flat. DeQuan Stanley inches ahead. Sets up 3rd and about 6 after a minimal game.
Well, you know what happens. They're so good on the perimeter. They can get off of blocks and they can go make tackles. And that's why every time you watch it when the ball comes to the perimeter, they're able to defeat the blocker and come off and get tackle for loss.
The game clock to 4 minutes.
That's Calvin Dinkins on the ground with 4:18 on the second quarter clock. Sophomore is down. Will step aside late in the second.
Oh, it's Dinkins, and he just had us.
Calvin Dinkins, it's a sophomore from Lake, Mississippi, helped off the field by the athletic training staff. He was favoring the right knee, so into the medical tent he went.
Well, you know what happened, Kevin? It's hard to lose a D lineman because they don't have it anymore. That's where they're having depth problems.
Yep.
So they need to check him and see if we can get him back.
Remember, today Mississippi State is without what was likely going to be one of their starting safeties, Corey Ellington. He and wide receiver Kelly Akari both out today for the opener. Morrissey slings that one over the middle, and there's a completion to the freshman Jaden West, the Richmond native, with his first catch of the day. So Morrissey now 7 of 11 through the air. It sets up fourth and very short.
And it's a down where they need to convert, and the defense needs to get off the field here.
Fourth and 1, EKU's first play in Mississippi State territory today. Here comes the tight end Schlatter. Morrissey to the tailback. Carter devoured in the backfield. It's a fourth down stop.
So you bring edge pressure and you try to hand the ball off. Everything is sealed inside.
Suleiman Paka, who just came in to replace Dinkins, led the charge there.
Well, it's hard to run the football when you get it inside. Look where everything inside is cut off, so the ball's got to bounce. But you're bringing a guy off the corner, off the edge, so there's nowhere for the ball to go.
So just after EKU had crept across midfield for the first time, they give it right back to Blake Shapen and what has been a very prolific offense today. Four touchdown drives, 6 possessions for Mississippi State. To the tight end, Traore couldn't bring it in. Shapen tried to float it to the 6'4" dynamic man from England.
And he's trying to sit him down in that hole and make that catch there.
How about Traore, by the way? The staff is very, very excited about what he could do here. He's a dynamic, big, versatile player. He's from London. He fell in love with American football after he started growing too big. And the only sort of American football they played in England was 9-on-9, so he comes to the States, only played 1 year of 11-on-11. Oh, look who's wide open. Craver!
Have you seen somebody throw a better deep ball than this? I mean, he just lays it out there. And Craver just runs by the corner again, just runs right by him. But it's a really good throw by Shapen. He does a really good job of throwing that deep ball. Remember, and the thing about Craver is a 4-star freshman. Came here in January, and he's making noise already.
It's a 54-yard strike on target from Shapen to Mario Craver. In his Bulldogs debut, he hauls in a touchdown in the opening half. One player that has certainly caught the attention of a lot of folks around the program this camp, it was Craver. He's got the speed and the dynamic athleticism.
But look at it, corner eyes inside, and you got a guy who's running past you, and safety's inside, and there's no one there. But the quarterback lays it out, just Shapen lays it out there, and he's able to connect. I'm telling you right now, guys, this can happen all day, because these receivers are just running by these defensive backs.
You think he's having fun at his Bulldogs debut? Third touchdown pass of the first half.
Well, you know it too. We talked about it too. He don't need to press it. He's just going to let the game come to him. That's what he's doing right now. He's letting the game come to him.
10 out of 12 through the air. And again, after the incompletion to Traore, then he hits Craver. It's a 2-play touchdown drive, 13 seconds. And Mississippi State is all over the Colonels. It's a 35-point lead deep in the second half.
The tempo is fast. The receivers are fast. So you have fast tempo and fast receivers.
Well, and I think a lot of the expectations were a little murky heading into this season. What were these receivers capable of doing? we've seen quite a bit already. So read and react with Cole Cubulin, Roman Harper. It's back for another year. Each week they're going to take a look at the biggest plays, players, and games from the weekend. The season premiere is Monday night at 7 on the SEC Network. I think they'll have a couple of plays and a couple of big ones from this one here in Starkville. Saw the 54-yard touchdown pass to Craver. Jordan Mosley took one to the house, a 65-yard strike to start the scoring.
Yeah, Coleman got one, and then Craver.
So what's Matt Morrissey, the EKU offense, do here? He's got Carter out of the backfield, gave him about 6 after he was tripped up.
Well, it's a good job by the quarterback. At least he stayed alive in the pocket. Morrissey stays alive in the pocket, and they're able to throw the ball out to the running back.
Well, the main reason why Matt Morrissey won the starting job, he and Cam Herget, they really had to battle it out this offseason after McKinney left, was because he was very productive. He engineered scoring drives in their scrimmages. Plus, he's got a few years on Herget, and we will likely see Herget today. Walt Wells is very likely to play both of his quarterbacks today. 2:30 to go until halftime. Carter is straight ahead. Brought down after a very short gain. He's right at the line to gain. Should be enough. Our side judge says move the stick. So that's another first down for Eastern Kentucky.
What's that, 4? So that's four first downs here in the first half.
Yep.
And when you let teams get on top of it, you got to drive the ball and get first downs and keep drives going. You got to sustain those drives.
And so remember, new to the game this year, we have our 2-minute timeout. Essentially the same concept as the 2-minute warning at the NFL level. So we take a timeout. 35-zip, Mississippi State in front. There was a whole lot of anticipation leading up to Mississippi State's opener this season. New regime, new era, overhauled roster. We have seen Blake Shapen in the offense thrive today. 5 touchdown drives on 7 possessions. And remember, this is Jeff Lebby's head coaching debut. Spent the last 5 years as the offensive coordinator at Central Florida, then Ole Miss, and the last couple of years of Brent Venables on that staff out in Norman, Oklahoma. They had that great season a year ago with Dylan Gabriel at the helm.
Well, you know, it's all about having fun and enjoying the game, and that's what he wants these players to do.
Yeah.
You look at it, you look at Shapen, but he's pulling back like he's shooting one deep, and then you look at the dance by Cree. But they're going to have fun in this program.
He has done it in a theoretical sense and literally as well. Again, he's 10 out of 12, 180 yards passing. He's had some big touchdown throws to Craver, Coleman, and Mosley to get things started. So quite the debut for Shapen in this offense. An offense that, again, returned 0 starters. Had to replace a record-setting quarterback.
0 starters.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. 0 starters.
I want to underscore something that you brought up here. 1:15 to go for Eastern Kentucky. 2nd and 7 for the Colonels. This is Morrissey in the gun once again. Morrissey lost it.
Lost the ball.
Slipped out of his hands. Still free. Who wants it? It's a wet field and a wet ball, but Mississippi State.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Does he have firm control when the hand is coming forward?
I think Jennings hits his ball here. I think he hits his ball before his arm, like he drops his arm back, but it looks like he knocks it out before the arm comes forward here. Look at this, right there. The ball is out. You know, I don't know if they're gonna say he was, you know,
Rolling on the field with a fumble recovered by the defense. The previous play is under video review.
But Coach, even like right there, we talk about fun. I mean, look at the excitement right there on that fumble. You see the sideline. Even the defensive coordinator is just, he erupted with it.
First turnover. Yeah, it almost looks as if Morrissey is trying to pump right here. and almost
see the ball
took
is
it.
out. I think he knocked it out before he comes forward. Hey, this may be the time. We'll see what the celebration is. We'll see what the celebration
Yeah,
is.
talking about highly anticipated elements of this game.
Because we talked about they have a celebration for a turnover. We will see.
You know, this one is very close.
It's close.
Yeah,
I know. It's like I just feel like he knocks it out like there.
Yes. And that hand and the ball is not coming forward and with firm control, which is critical in this sequence. That's
I
how
want
it
him to give
appears.
it to Mississippi
After
State because I
video
want to see what
review,
it's
it's an incomplete pass. The passer's hand was coming forward intentionally with firm control of the ball before it came loose.
Well,
Third down.
I wanted to see the celebration. That's why I wanted it to be a fumble.
Well, the key is I think there's going to be a giant cowbell on the sideline.
Yeah, but we don't see it. See, it's somewhere down there.
We need the first official turnover. Well, we had highlighted it there that it looked like he still had firm control.
Right.
And the officials say the hand was moving forward, so it's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 7. Line to gain is the 44 for EKU. With a minute and a second to go in the half. Short throw, he's got a man, catch is made. That's Cal Wise, and he's slips free for the first down, a gain of 10.
Well, they bring pressure, and he's able to beat the corner, the safety one-on-one, and then the safety overruns the play, and he's able to get across and get the first down.
From the 41, Morrissey guns it, looking for Cal Wise again, incomplete off of his right hand. EKU with one timeout left, 51 seconds to go in the half. Morrissey zips it, finds his man over the middle, and it's Jacob Dixon again. That's a completion for 16.
Good throw by Morrissey. Look where the ball is placed. The backer see a run that comes underneath the backer, then one comes behind him. So he's able to hit the receiver behind him.
Dixon has been Morrissey's favorite target. He's found him 3 times today. Dropped. That was Jacob Horn, the son of the legend Joe Horn, who is on the field for the first time today.
And his brother and his dad, you got the Horn family.
That's right.
You know?
Second and 10, Morrissey floats it towards the corner of the end zone and in and out of Horn's hands. Nice coverage on the play by Brylan Lanier.
Really, you have blitz pressure coming here, and Lanier is one-on-one with the inside receiver, and he's able to just pull the ball out, rake his hands, and get the ball out.
So it sets up 3rd down.
Money down. They got to either make a play or get off the field here.
Essentially in field goal range for their veteran kicker, Patrick Nations. But they'd love to inch a little further towards the end zone. Morrissey guns it. That's caught. Inside the 15-yard line. It's a strike to Cal Wise. And so the freshman from Covington, Georgia, has his team in the red zone for the first time today.
Really a good route, and he was able to get on the same thing, get behind the backers and underneath the safety.
Game clock running, 15 seconds left. To the outside, Cal Wise inside the 10. So the clock stops with 13 seconds to go. This will be second down at about 6. Remember, Eastern Kentucky still does have one timeout left.
Well, you got 13 seconds, so you should be able to get at least 2 plays here. And you got to make a throw to the end zone with one of them.
They need to get to the 2-yard line in order to stop the clock and get the first down if they stay in bounds. From the 9-yard line, Eastern Kentucky in the red zone. A pass to the backside. Was he out of bounds? Yes, it was Ron Van Jr. who caught it, but couldn't get his feet in bounds. Third down and 8 seconds on the clock.
Really a good throw. It's a back shoulder fade. Back so close. Back shoulder fade.
Look at how close this is.
He doesn't get his foot down. They're going to look at
on the field was an incomplete pass. The previous players had the video review.
It's close. Look like his toe is in.
By a pinky toe. Did he get that left toe down?
And then he had control of the ball when he landed. But it's
this has been Morrissey's best drive. Again, the ruling is incomplete, and that Van was out of bounds.
You know, but that's a good back shoulder throw. Really a good back shoulder throw by the quarterback. Yes. Look like he has control. It's a matter. The matter is, does he have a foot down? Does he get his pinky? Does he get that pinky toe down?
With 8 seconds on the game clock.
Oh, he's out.
How close was that?
Yeah.
And the pylon camp delivers again.
Ooh,
wow.
Ooh. Close. You know, Kevin, the thing is, they have, early they were getting stopped. And they moved the ball. EKU, the key thing for them is to sustain the drives.
This is going to be the 14th play of the drive.
After video review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass. Third down.
And like you said, here's the 14th play of this drive.
Third and 7 for Walt Wells' team. They can pick up a first down without scoring. They're looking for the end zone here on their best drive of the afternoon. Morrissey, 6 of 11 through the air on this drive. Where is he going? Here's pressure. Slings it into the end zone. It's caught. And look who it is. Van for the touchdown. And so he would not be denied on quite nearly the final play of the half. He finds him in the back of the end zone. First TD is a Colonel.
Well, and the thing, you like the route. If you look at it, you look like you got a wheel route with a slant coming in behind it. And he was able to just keep working. Look at it, where it is. That's the slant coming behind it, and it gets over underneath the safety, and they're able to make the throw. Another good throw right there.
And so it confuses the defense momentarily.
Well, the defense is in man coverage, so they're chasing. So now the guy from the outside end up being the defender.
And so a couple of first-year Colonels hook up here late in the first half for Eastern Kentucky's first touchdown of the day. A 15-play drive, make it a 14-play drive. It lasted a little more than 3 minutes, and they scored just in the nick of time here with 3 ticks left on the first half clock. Patrick Nations with the extra point.
I mean, that's the thing about Morrissey here, Kev. Look at him right here. He's got a big arm, and look at this throw. You know, the helmet gets knocked off, and he completes the throw here. Touchdown.
Sensing the pressure here from his blind side. Gets rid of it in the nick of time.
Gets in behind, gets underneath the safety, and he's able to hit John Lewis. John Lewis is the defender here. He gets underneath John and catches the ball.
And so just 2 plays after Ron Van thought he had come down with his first touchdown of the year.
Yes.
Winds up landing on the out-of-bounds line there. Bounces right back and catches the first touchdown pass of his season. The 5th-year senior from Chula Vista, California. One of the many fresh faces on this retooled offense for EKU. They lost their top passer, receiver,
they lost a lot
back from a year ago.
They lost a lot.
A team that finished 2nd in the UAC. And so, of course, it's an uneven score right here in the first half. They're overmatched in a lot of senses facing Mississippi State today. But this is a Colonels team with a 5th-year senior right there in Morrissey that is projected to finish in the top half of the UAC. It's got a couple of strong teams like Central Arkansas.
I was going to say that. You keep saying UAC. Like, is that a new conference?
The United, that's right. The United Athletic Conference, still a very fresh conference. Its 2nd year of existence. Your Central Arkansas squad should be at the top.
The Bears are in there. But I just had never heard of the UAC until we started talking about it. You made mention of it.
Well, a couple of years ago, the ASUN and the WAC merged to form the UAC. 30 minutes in the books. Mississippi State with 5 touchdowns in that first half. We wondered what this new era of Mississippi State football was going to look like. This program has certainly dealt with a lot over the last couple of years after the 5-7 season a year ago. New staff, overhauled roster. The offense led by Blake Shapen out of the transfer portal. The first-year starter has looked very sharp. Offense has moved quite swiftly, and their 5 scoring drives have been very, very quick. Now it's thanks in large part due to the field position that they have had. Kevin Coleman on the day, 5 punt returns, 117 total punt return yards.
Well, I don't know why we keep punting him the ball. Because every time he gets it, something happens. And he's an exciting player. And like I said, look at the yardage in 5 punt returns that he has accumulated already. But he's so fun to watch. Catches a deep ball from Chapin for a touchdown. This is a special player here. And they need it because he plays in the slot position for them. And that's a really important position. And they really need him to go make plays like he's doing.
One of their more exciting players that they signed out of the portal. Is a very savvy acquisition in the offseason. He has had a very prolific day. And, of course, caught a touchdown pass from Shapen as well. An offense that didn't return a single starter. And so a great start in Jeff Lebby's head coaching debut. Now, Eastern Kentucky, of course, has the football to begin this second half. And so they pick up right where they left off when they scored their first touchdown and only touchdown with 3 seconds to go in that first half.
And you want to build on that. So you could have went in halftime, hey, guys, we get the ball to start this second half. We need to go take the ball and go drive it, and let's get us a score. Whether it be a field goal or it be a touchdown, we need to get some points here. And that way it keeps the momentum going, and they can sustain a drive. They need to sustain a drive here.
Walt Wells' team that's finished second or better in the UAC the last couple of years. They're looking for a sharp start to this second half. Nice toss to the outside, and Daquan Stanley hauls that one in from Matt Morrissey, who is definitely settling into a rhythm.
Well, you look at the inside receiver, and he knows he's got the safety on him, and he has enough field to open to, and there's a really good throw by the quarterback, and he makes that catch.
Stanley, the junior from Florida, has his team out to the 44 now. Remember that touchdown drive, it was a 14-play, 75-yard TD drive that took us just about to the end of the first half. So EKU now picks up 8 on the first down carry. That's Josh Carter, very valuable, dependable ball carrier, ran for more than 700 yards a year ago.
And a strong runner, a really strong runner.
2nd and 2. They're across midfield and very quickly to start the second half. Morrissey to the flat. This is Stanley once again, ushered out after a gain of 5.
Well, you look at it, he thought pressure was coming, so he released the ball to the outside quickly before the pressure got there, and they were able to pin the corner and get the receiver to the outside.
That's now 11 first downs for Eastern Kentucky. Again, their drives, particularly the one right before the half, was a sustained drive.
And I think that was, what, a 15-play?
You're right, 14-play drive for Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels from Richmond, Kentucky. It's a little south of Lexington. They're hoping to continue to move the football down the field. That pass is incomplete. They were looking for Jackson House that time. Lost his helmet, so he's got to head to the sideline for a play. So it brings up 2nd and 10.
And it's key here, just stay on schedule. Stay on schedule with EKU. Stay on schedule and try to get first downs.
Stanley in motion. He's looking this way. It's Stanley with a couple of blocks. Twirls past the 35. Should be just about a yard short. Picked up 9.
He get the ball in the tunnel. Like you said, you have 2 blockers to the outside here. He gets the ball right in the tunnel there. He's one-on-one with the safety. Makes him miss. And then he end up good tackle by Lanier of just undercutting him here.
Officially, it's 3rd and 2. They need to get to the 33.
Big down here.
And Stanley on the move once again. Carter has it, muscles ahead, didn't gain much. That's a strong stop by the Mississippi State front.
Every time in a short yardage situation, they build such a wall, there's nowhere to go with the ball. So you got to get the ball to the outside, get it on the perimeter to give yourself a chance. See, same thing here. Good job by Russell. He ends up beating the block. There's nowhere for the ball to go. Cooper is edging the defense, so it's got to go back inside.
Offense is out there. 4th and 2. 4 seconds on the play clock. Morrissey steps up, throws, knocked down. Isaac Smith forces the stop. Turnover on downs.
That's a really good job by the defense. But if you look at that play, you have the guy in the flat is running wide open, and it just misses him. You don't see him. All right.
It's a turn. So on 4th and 2, Mississippi State stops Eastern Kentucky. What'd you see here on the prior play?
Well, if you look at it, he rushes the throw. Look at 43. It's wide open in the flat. And you have the corner and the nickel sitting down on the sit route on the down, and then look at the flat defender. Just wide open. If you could get that throw, but it's a great job by the defense, too.
Another turnover on downs forced by Mississippi State. Coleman Hutzler, the first-year defensive coordinator. He loves it. And so this thriving offense is back on the field for the first time in the second half. Devon Booth is the ball carrier, tackled by Jeremiah Bailey that time. Blake Shapen in the first half. He was brilliant. That's Mosley. That's a first down. Now he's 11 of 13 through the air.
But same thing, Coach. Look at the corner. You got a lot of cushion out there, so you're going to run the out cut now. They done ran on top of them, but now you can take away the underneath route.
Shapen in his Bulldogs debut. He's thrown for now nearly 200 yards. Mosley, short gain on the first down pass play. But Jordan Mosley today, now with 5 catches to lead all Bulldog receivers.
And you think about last season, he didn't play much at all, and now he's a guy that they talked to, that said that he's got a chance to make a bunch of plays.
He's got 5 catches for 101 yards. Last season, he had 3 catches all year. Again, Mississippi State, their top 2 wide receivers move on from a year ago, lost their top 2 ball carriers. So there were plenty of opportunities for either some of the transfers or the returning dogs to step into a larger role.
And you look at Booth right there on that run. You gave him from Booth transfers in here.
Yep.
So you got a bunch of, even at the running back position.
So Mississippi State with a rare huddle there. 5 minutes gone in the third quarter. 3rd and 4. Where are they going? This is Devon Booth into a wall, nowhere to go, and Eastern Kentucky with the stop. It was Sam Robertson that time who led the charge for the Colonels.
You got to go for it here, because you got to stay on schedule. You want to make sure that, hey, we get first downs. Let's keep this drive going. You know, it's our first one of the second half, and we need to go to first down here.
1 for 2 on 4th downs today. Kevin Coleman makes it 2 out of 3. He is so slippery and athletic. And Mississippi State's down to the 25, gain of 16.
Coach, when he finds that hold and he sits down, and the backer, look, and it's a great job by Shapen. He's looking the backer off. The backer don't know exactly where the receiver's sitting down, and so much speed and quickness that it's a matchup problem.
Big time. He has been a problem for Eastern Kentucky today. There is an EKU player down, and so the athletic staff works on him with 9:19 to go in the third. Bulldogs on the move. There's Ryan Jackson standing on the sideline there. That's the captain, defensive tackle for EKU, was injured just before our prior timeout. Tonight, SEC football final. It's back for another season. Dari, Doring, and Watson, they got you covered. They're going to take it through the biggest stories of the day, break down all the games, show you all the highlights. That's at 11 Eastern, 10 Central on the SEC Network and also on the app. We saw Georgia roll earlier today. Several other SEC teams in their openers have done just that. Mississippi State with a giant lead early in the third quarter. They went up 35-zip before Eastern Kentucky finally punched in a touchdown with 3 seconds to go late in that first half. Nice stop here. Good pressure by the EKU defense. Set up 2nd and 10.
But look at them. They're still on the ball. They're up on the ball right now and still moving and going quick.
Another quick snap with a lot of time on the play clock. Booth barrels through one man. Finally finished off around the 15-yard line. Might have had enough there to move the sticks. If not, it's 3rd and 1.
Coach, that's a dart play. See the tackle pull around, right? 66-pounders, makes the block on the safety, and the back. Booth is still running.
That's Sam Robertson.
But you look at him, he had to go take on that big old offensive lineman, and then he goes down, and Pounders is able to put his big body on.
Right. Robertson, he's the junior from Plymouth, Minnesota. With 8:32 to go in the third. And so on the heels of that 9-yard Booth run, it sets up 3rd and 1. Blake Shapen has only misfired twice today, Coach. He's 13 of 15 through the air.
Isn't it amazing? He's 13 of 15.
Yep.
You know, and it's a great, you know, he's coming out tonight. and it is really showing just his poise. And then it's showing his confidence now. So as the game goes, he could continue to grow more confident, and he's able to find the receivers, and he's finding the open receivers.
Remember, 4 years at Baylor. He was a starter for a couple of years. His best year was 2 seasons ago. Threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's looking for a fresh start. So what does he do? He puts his name in the transfer portal on a Sunday. Jeff Lebby calls him about a day later. They have some conversations. He was in the car on that Thursday that week. Lebby calls him, says, "Hey, I got a spot for you." Oh, Booth nearly takes it all the way. And Devon Booth is down to the 1-yard line.
And then, you know, Booth transferred in here from Utah State, somewhere had like 900 yards rushing, 700 yards rushing.
Leading rusher there.
And the lead rusher there, and look at him right here. Same thing. The blockers seal the edge, and the only thing you need to do is seal the edge for these, for the backs and the receivers, and they're going to get vertical with the ball and get it and make positive yards.
Booth now 38 yards on 7 carries. First and goal from the 1. Booth the tailback on Shapen's left hip. There goes Coleman. Booth has it. Booth breaks through. It's a touchdown for Devon Booth.
Coach, but you get eye candy, so you see the eye candy. Receiver motions across, and then they come back where the motion was, hand the ball to Booth. He goes into the outside and scores. Seal the outside. Get the ball on the perimeter, and that's what they're doing.
Devon Booth, the senior from North Las Vegas. You nailed it. A year ago, he was Utah State's leading rusher, ran for more than 800 yards, 12 touchdowns, and this his first with Mississippi State.
All right. Motion. You see the motion there by Coleman, eye candy. Then you get the ball to the outside. The tight end turns out, and then the tackle turns out. He cuts the ball back up inside. He really does. And that's the thing. In this offense, you have to be able to run the ball, Kevin, because you want to be physical. Yep. And you want to be physical at the point of attack. And we're probably going to see a lot of runs this second half just because I want our offense to run the football.
And so Booth now becomes another Bulldog in his debut game that finds the end zone. It was Craver previously, Coleman as well.
J-Mo, don't forget about Mosley. Right. J-Mo making it.
And so they've got a 42-7 lead over Eastern Kentucky. Marion Hawk booms it away. And so 1st and 10 at the 25.
And when you get a big lead like this, Kevin, it shows a lot about your team. For EKU, it's one of those where we can't quit. We got to continue to play. And then for Mississippi State, you just can't lull yourself to sleep. You know, then all of a sudden just going out there playing with poor fundamentals and technique. You got to continue to play.
Well, Jeff Lebby told us the defense as a whole took a really large step forward in camp. I mean, they certainly improved.
Yes.
Mightily as a group. It's a lot of Bulldogs that have been here for a couple of seasons that are taking on and ascending into either just starting roles or elevated roles. And so they are trying to prove themselves here in week 1.
And the same thing, they're trying to be physical up front on both sides of the ball, just trying to win the line of scrimmage. And then if you can win it, you're going to be able to run it. If you can't win it, you're going to get stopped on the run.
Remember, this defense lost, not just a lot of experienced veterans. They lost a lot of next-level talent to Camryon Richardson, Nathaniel Watson, their leading tackler from a year ago, Jaden Crumedy.
Those guys in the NFL.
All 3 players were drafted. Yes. They had 3 players on the defensive side of the ball drafted back in April. Morrissey in the shotgun once again on 2nd and 7. So it's Latham on this drive as tailback. There goes Dixon. Latham driven down. Short game. And there's the trio. Richardson with the Raiders. Crumity taken by Carolina. Watson with the Browns. Made the 53-man the other day.
And Watson was a lead tackler last season. I mean, I think his career is like him and Johnson was the other backer. Like 700 tackles between the two of them.
Yeah, he and Jet Johnson both move on. He led the SEC with 10 sacks, remember?
Yes.
3rd and 5. So the line to gain here is the 35 for Eastern Kentucky. EKU rushing them to the outside. That pass is caught by Jacob Horn. That's enough for a first down.
5-man pressure, 1-on-1 with the corner receiver. Good throw by Morrissey to get the ball to the outside. There we go, 5-man pressure. You bring this. It is a good job by the nickel winning it, but he's 1-on-1 to the outside. The receiver makes outside cut, catches the ball.
Morrissey and EKU, they have not turned the ball over yet. Now Mississippi State, they've of course only held them to 1 scoring drive, but they've taken care of the football today. Dixon rumbles ahead, a gain of 7 on the play. Rather, that was Marcus Calwise, a freshman from Georgia.
So they go good bubble, but it's a really good job by the corner of making that tackle in open field and not giving them any yards after the catch, because that's really big yards after the catch, and he gives them none there.
Mississippi State with a 42-7 lead in their opener. Latham evades one, sheds another. Braden Latham finally ran out of bounds by Smith after a gain of 16, so that's his largest run of the day. Latham now 9 carries, 51 yards.
Good penetration by the defensive front, but the ball ends up running past him. You know, you had a guy in the backfield. You have a guy in the backfield unblocked here, but the ball ends up, look at that, and he ends up running right past him for a big gain.
Etienne was able to slip by Travion Williams. Morrissey all day hits the tailback out of the backfield, and a vicious hit.
Well, they're sitting down in the secondary, and they just wait for any of the routes to come to the flat. That's a big hit right here. Look at this. He comes down in the secondary, ball comes out in the corner. The safety comes up and makes a play on it.
Zachary Tillman, the sophomore from Florence, Mississippi, is largely a special teamer last year.
Now he's getting some reps at outside linebacker. You know, they moved him up closer to the line of scrimmage.
The Dogs today trying to put that depth to work in the opener. Latham to the outside, found the edge, and to the short side of the field, another productive run. Well, you know, sophomore from Knoxville.
You see what they had formation into the boundary. So you had 3 receivers aligned to the boundary. So they're able to block the edge and get good angles, and then that's why the ball's able to get outside.
So it's been a good drive for Latham. Remember Andy Richmond telling us the other day, I was trying to get this freshman some carries last year. It's really hard when you had Josh Carter and Braden Sloan.
But he's getting a ton of reps right now. Getting a lot of runs.
3rd and 1. Ball's at the 31.
5-man pressure again.
Oh, and a lot of pressure. This one is blown up in the backfield.
Off the edge. They did not seal the edge. Same thing. And this has happened every time it's been the 3rd and short. Look at the guy coming here off the edge right there. Lewis, here he comes. Right now, John Lewis comes off the edge and makes a play. And that's every time, going to look like they've been in 3rd and short, they've ran that pressure off the edge with the outside, with the backer.
He was squashed. Now it's 4th and 1. Getting late in the 3rd quarter.
Gonna run it again. Look like you're gonna run it again. Look like they lined up the same way.
The Bulldogs.
Same thing.
Latham.
And same result.
Latham into a crowd. Turnover on downs. Brandon Jennings leads the way.
So same play, same result. Lined up, and they're showing it. They're showing the pressure, and the guy comes off the edge and then makes the play. Good job there. But, you know, really,
The pressure.
There's Jennings right there, fights it off, comes down, makes the play, and Lewis the same way.
It's been an impressive week one opener here for Mississippi State. Offensively, they have moved the ball very swiftly. They've held Eastern Kentucky, solid program out of the FCS level, to just one score. And there's another Shapen to Kevin Coleman connection. This time down the field for 21 yards late in the third quarter. Blake Shapen, 14 of 16 through the air for better than 200 yards today, plus the 3 touchdowns. He's ran one in. Improvising here, floats it. Was he in bounds?
What a catch.
Coleman
What a catch.
Snags it with one hand.
One hand.
Let's see how close he was to getting his feet down.
They're trying to run the wheel route with
Ruling
the
on
tight
the
end.
field
He's
is a
wide
catch.
open.
Third down.
Oh, he's cut to catch.
Oh, boy. I mean, the toe comes down.
Yes, inbounds.
I think the signal immediately was out of bounds.
But see, they was up on the ball so quick they didn't give him a chance to look at it. But see, they got on the ball so quick that's why they didn't give him a chance for the officials to even take a look.
So 2 plays ago, they did rule that a catch. One official on the sideline had signaled that it was an incomplete pass. So it does stand. Here they are from the 30. Shapen lofts one, and that one was through the hands of Jordan Thomas. Look at this thing. Going up for it, Kevin Coleman.
One hand. He is an exciting player to watch.
I think Kevin Coleman saying, "How you like me now?" There in his Bulldogs debut. Again, he's got punt returns of 40 and 45 yards. He's got a 30-yard punt return as well. It's been an incredible day.
Well, and what you forget, as a freshman, he was SWAC Player of the Year.
That's right.
It's like Jackson State with Dion.
He starts there. Spent last year at Louisville. Was a very reliable receiver for a 10-win Cardinals team. Kevon Lee on the ground, able to wrestle ahead for a gain of 4. You know, we have spotlighted several times how this is likely to be a much more exciting brand of offense this year. We have seen it in the opener. Of course, in a game where Mississippi State is heavily favored. Shapen on the move now. He's got a couple of blocks and then taken down inside the 10.
He is so fearless. You see that run right there? Instead of him running the ball out of bounds, he see a blocker and he cuts the ball back up inside. You know, sometimes you like to protect him. Here he is right here. Gets outside. He's scrambling. He's got a blocker right there. And then he gets the ball back inside of Creed and instead of just going out of bounds with it.
You wonder how many more drives he's going to be out there. He'd love to convert this one. This is a sidewinder that twisted out of bounds there. He just had to get rid of it. So it sets up 2nd and goal. We're inside of 30 seconds here, late in the third.
And then the thing is, you don't see him throw many of them away, but right there he needed to get rid of it and he ends up throwing it away.
15 out of 19 for 247 yards, the 3 passing touchdowns, plus he ran one in from 4 yards out in the first quarter.
And you're in the red zone right here. So the quarterback, you know, I always feel like the quarterback comes alive here in the red zone. So see what kind of play he ends up making or he's going to be a part of it.
What does Jeff Levy, the 40-year-old from West Texas, have for his QB and his offense here? Lee, nowhere to go that time, into a crowd, maybe a gain of 1. Jeremiah Bailey led the way for Eastern Kentucky that time. And this clock is going to continue to roll. 12 seconds.
Well, we'll see if they take it to the quarter.
Yep.
Take it to the quarter.
Yep, pedal to the metal for Mississippi State. The 7 lead in their opener. New staff, revamped roster in control. Mississippi State's opener in Starkville, a whole lot of cowbell today. Just like it always is.
But you gotta love
Davis Wade Stadium.
You're right. You gotta love it because the cowbells are going now.
Well, look where Mississippi State is again, knocking on the door. Start of the fourth quarter. This new era of Bulldogs football. Chapin took a hit there at the end of the play. He was looking for the tight end, Traore.
Well, you get a guy who's coming off the edge, and we don't see him, and he comes free and then gets a hit on the quarterback.
And so that'll bring set up 4th down. And it looks like the field goal unit is
comes around, boom.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was Frank Lee coming off the edge here to drive him into the ground. Well, here's Kyle Ferry, and he's back to handle the kicking duties this year. 16 out of 22 on his field goals a season ago, and he shanked that one.
Well, it's a bad snap.
Yep.
If you look at the snap, the holder never gets it down. Look at the snap here.
Yeah, that was not a clean.
Not clean at all.
Yeah.
Never gets the ball down, then the kicker tries to get it out. Here it is here.
Yeah, low snap.
Just the timing is all. You can't get it now. The kicker's running up, and the timing is off.
And Haynes did his best to try to readjust and handle that one and get it down for Ferry, the sophomore from Searcy, Arkansas, by the way. And so that's one. Your Ferry shake it off. Again, that was not a clean operation there. It's been wet. I mean, it continues. The rain continues to fall. Right now, it's a pretty light rain.
Could that have been their first drive without scoring?
Yeah, that's right. Well, here's a big play, by the way, on 1st down for Eastern Kentucky. That's Josh Carter. And they had a couple of drives, one that ended on a fourth down stop by Eastern Kentucky. So they turned it over on downs once, and they've only punted the ball to EKU one time today. That's all. So outside of the drive that went into halftime, only been 3 times where Mississippi State has not scored on a drive.
Especially in the red zone. In the red zone, they've been able to score.
They've had great field goal position today.
Yes.
Thanks largely due to what Kevin Coleman and the punt team and coverage team has done. So 2nd and 10 for Matt Morrissey and Eastern Kentucky. Morrissey looking this way, connects.
It's really good route of the quarterback. You know, good job of the quarterback taking the ball over, taking him the receiver away from the defender. Because the safety came and then he threw the ball and worked him away from him.
13:45, clock winds early in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 3.
3rd down. Here we go. Big down. 3rd down. Pressure.
Pressure from the outside. Morrissey to the far side of the field. That pass is caught. Brian Johnson hangs on, lost his helmet, but it's enough to move the sticks.
Well, and this inside receiver on the safety. Look at this inside receiver on the safety, and he just breaks away from him because of the depth the safety is. There's no way he's going to be able to get down on that route and stop it.
Second catch of the day for Brian Johnson Jr. That's the redshirt senior from Cincinnati. There's some movement on the left side of the line.
But I think got the defense off sides here. I think they were across.
Offside, defense number 36, jumped in the neutral zone and caused an offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's DeMonte's little brother. That's Don Terry. Russell is now at his 3rd year with the program. You know, if there's one thing that's been a bright spot at times today for Eastern Kentucky, they've got a really veteran, experienced offensive line.
Yes.
So, you know, at times, especially late in that first half and in the third, they've given Morrissey some decent time here to throw. Yeah.
Pressure again.
Pocket collapsing, never mind. Bad timing there. Down goes Morrissey.
So you're talking about a pocket that collapses because the guys up front stay square. The guys up front stay square, and they just push the pocket. Look at her. Just push the pocket, and it collapsed, and there's nowhere for Morrissey to go.
Second sack for this Mississippi State defense. 2nd and 12. They lost 7 on the play. Carter through the middle, gained 1. The Bulldogs looking for another 3rd down stop on a warm, heavy, humid, rainy evening in Starkville.
There we go. Money down.
Mississippi State brings 4. Russell chasing down Morrissey. Flings it to the outside. Got a question of whether or not did that one reach the line of scrimmage. And it has to, of course, get back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like it did there. So that'll just bring up 4th down. And that time, it's Terry Russell who gets to him. And so on the money down, they cash in.
When you look at Terry, they run a game over on the outside. He ends up coming back around. And that's the second in this series. That's 2 plays that he have made in this series.
So Creed Whittemore now is back to return this punt. And so they kick away from Whittemore. They're kicking away from the wrong guy. They needed to do that a couple of times in the first half. Still a big lead for Mississippi State in the 4th. Fine evening in Starkville for Blake Shapen after 4 years at Baylor, where he was very productive. A couple of years as the starter in his debut as a Mississippi State Bulldog. Nearly 250 yards through the air, the 3 touchdowns, so his evening is over. That was quite the debut.
It was quite a debut, and it's what we wanted to see, and he didn't press it, and he made plays.
And so now who takes over for him, it's Chris Parson. That's the redshirt freshman who appeared in some games last year for Mississippi State, for Brentwood, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think he came in last year when the one thing went down. He ended up coming in.
That's right.
You know, to play. But you're right, from Brentwood.
Yeah, played in 2 games, started 1. He's airing this one out deep down the sideline. Little too far that time for San Francisco Magee, the freshman from Macomb, Mississippi.
But you know what? He has a strong arm. He is a strong runner, and he's very athletic.
He's got quite a bit of upside. Strong, athletic, as you mentioned, very hard working. He did some fine things in the spring game back in April. 3rd and 5 for Mississippi State. They've certainly got this one in hand. Of course, came into this one the heavy favorites against an FCS team. A very fine program at that in Eastern Kentucky. Nice strong run for Johnny Daniels.
Really good hold. The hole opened up and ball ran behind the left side of the offensive line. A big hole. The back is able to run through it.
You know, but going back to Shapen for a moment as well, you know, it's just, I'd be curious. You can catch a rhythm, right, in an offense like Jeff Lebby's. That was very attractive to Blake Shapen when he was in the portal. Remember, he goes, I still remember playing against that Oklahoma offense the last couple of years when Lebby was the OC in Norman.
Well, you remember this last year. He had 18 completions in one game.
Yeah. Here's Parson on the move. Scampers to the outside. Improvising nicely there. Picked up about 7 or 8 yards. Ward brought him down.
But that's what you talk about with him. He's athletic. Look at it. He's in the top 300. One of the top players in the class 300. ESPN 300. But he is a very strong, athletic, with a strong arm and get the ball down the field.
Maddox Marcellus worked on here at the end of that play. So let's take a timeout with 9:30 to go in Starkville. Next Saturday, let's take a look at our Week 2 SEC football slate. Starts at 12:45. Texas A&M hosting McNeese. Ole Miss in action later against Middle Tennessee State. And then Oklahoma hosts Houston. What could be a fun one. That's at 7:45 Eastern. Of course, Georgia in action, Missouri, Florida, LSU as well. Coach, you mentioned Texas A&M. They've got the early lead over Notre Dame. That's still early in that mega showdown in College Station.
It's going to be a big-time showdown. And you got two really big powerhouses going toe-to-toe with each other.
Oh, by the way, ball is on the ground. Looked like it's recovered this time by Daniels. So a little problem with the exchange there. Again, it's Chris Parson now, the redshirt freshman, in at quarterback. Blake Shapen done after 3 quarters. Threw for nearly 250 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, third down here with Parsons, and let's see if he can get the ball out.
Line to gain is the 40. Some of the second teamers in for Mississippi State, of course, with the large lead. Shapen, or rather, Parson lost the handle on that one. Slips out of his hands, winds up hitting the ground. Smith thought he had, or attempted to persuade our official as if he had picked it off. But that time, Parson looked like he was trying to pump, and he lost it.
And the guy who's coming off the edge is bringing pressure on him.
Levy, a bit frustrated. Nick Barr-Mira, though, will punt it away to Jalen Montgomery. Nice punt.
You're
from
right.
Barr-Mira, the 6th-year senior, last punted on a regular basis 2 years ago when he was at UCLA. That's a 54-yard blast.
Levy may get frustrated because he wants to score on every possession.
Yeah.
That's why.
Remember, Mississippi State was up 35-zip before EKU finally scored its first and only touchdown late in that second quarter. All right, let's take a look around the college scene this year. What's new? Of course, we've got a bigger bracket. We have got a legitimate bracket this year, the expanded 12-team playoff. Of course, you're going to have the top 4 teams get buys into the quarterfinals of that playoff. That's the top 4 highest rated conference champs.
We say it's legitimate,
Yeah.
but somebody is going to be left out, and you're going to have a whole new controversy.
That's right. You saw conference realignment, of course, or the latest wave of it as the second bullet point. Morrissey tripped up there trying to escape. Great pressure from Terry Russell again.
It's 3 plays he's made. He's been in there.
Yep.
You know, he affected the quarterback, get a sack here, but he's 3 plays. And he's a guy that they talked about because he's not very big, but he's very athletic.
Yes, he is. Sophomore from Jackson, so just a couple hours away. Last year was on the SEC All-Rookie team. Well, in conference realignment, the SEC, it's now the expanded SEC, adding Oklahoma and Texas. And remember, Mississippi State next week goes to Arizona State. It's no longer Pac-12 country. Arizona State's first year in the Big 12. Carter following his blockers, a patient run that time to pick up 4 or 5, sets up third and manageable for EKU.
But you're right, with Texas and Oklahoma coming, and just imagine how much this conference was already strong. And now with those 2 entering, it just made it that much more stronger. And that's how strong this conference is.
You've spent a lot of years coaching in this conference and won a couple of national championships, of course, on that Florida staff mid to late 2000s. So it just gets more robust. Pocket collapsing. Morrissey fires. That one's knocked down. Broken up on the play by Jordan Morant.
Yes, a really good drive on the ball, and he's trying to get it across the middle there. And look at the safety just sitting there waiting on it. No, he never moved the safety with his eyes, so he's going to sit down on the route.
So it's a fine play there.
But Kev, you're right. I spent some time in this conference, and it's always been a tough conference. And whoever comes out here has always had a chance to win the national championship. And now with those two teams, this makes it stronger.
Well, Georgia with Carson. Oh,
block.
Here's a block.
Who got it? Block.
Oh, they're going to recover it.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Mississippi State. Craver pounces on it.
Jatavius Johnson blocked it.
Everything going Mississippi State's way.
That was Jatavius Johnson coming off the corner. They don't block him, and he goes, he comes around. And you know what? Puts a hand on the ball, blocks it, it's up in the air. Craver runs through and gets it easy. That was a gift. He didn't even have to work for that one now. He just runs and just catches it out of midair. It's a touchdown.
Not much drama there. So
no
Mario
drama.
Craver, the four-star rookie who came in with a whole lot of potential and upside. And let's take a look at the block one more time. Purvis breaks through, blocks the Baker punt. Craver all over it for the touchdown in Starkville. Coach, this is turning into an annual tradition. Mississippi State, they blocked a punt for a touchdown in the opener last year. They do it again today. J.P. Purvis.
Purvis comes through, unblocked, and it's a gift for Purvis. Look at Craver. It's a gift for him. He didn't have to go anywhere.
Well, two ends of the spectrum there. J.P. Purvis in his 6th year with the program. This is his 40th career game. Is elevated into a pretty significant role in the defense this season. You know, Coleman Hutzler, he's the former special teams coordinator. He says, hey, he has loved what Purvis has done in camp. He says, I need him on the punt block team. Gets his hands on it. And this dynamic four-star rookie who has had so much upside, the conversation surrounding him, great potential for Mario Craver, as you
well, you look at Purvis, like you said, Purvis has played a lot, very unselfish. Hey, go be on the punt block, go block a punt, and look what he does. You know, very unselfish player. A lot of guys be like, no, I don't want to be, but he doesn't do that. He goes in.
Craver caught a 23-yard touchdown pass earlier today. And now he's got the punt block recovered in the end zone for a TD. Night of firsts in a lot of ways. Blake Shapen's debut in this brand new Jeff Levy offense and his head coaching debut. So Shapen, of course, he's got the 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air. He ran 1 in the first quarter. Kevin Coleman in his first game, same as Devon Booth, in their first games as Bulldogs.
As Bulldogs, yes.
You know, and it's got to feel good. This team, Coach, you know, it feels like with so many first-year players, remember, 53 newcomers, that's the most of any SEC team this year. It's one of the largest totals of newcomers in the nation as well. We talked to a couple of the players yesterday, Shapen, Stone Blanton, who we have touched on at times. It feels like there's this in it together mentality, kind of us against the world. Let's bond together and get things done.
And they come out here tonight and just compete, and they competed hard, like you said, as a team.
So they've got the big lead here late in the fourth quarter. And you knew it was going to be an uphill climb, of course, for Eastern Kentucky. Let's make a note here. This EKU team, they are expected to be in the top half of the UAC this year.
Yes.
It's 3 straight top 2 finishes for this program in their conference. Walt Wells, a 2-time Conference Coach of the Year, has done a really fine job piloting this program to great consistency. in his first 5 seasons.
Well, tonight you didn't get a good picture of them because they're just overmatched with speed
Right.
and quickness, so it was tough to really see what it can be all about.
Next week, they go on the road. They'll play their cross-state FBS rival, Western Kentucky. First time they played them in several years. So that'll be a fun matchup. That time Morrissey was looking for Stanley. That pass is incomplete. We keep mentioning it, though, on the Mississippi State side. Largely overhauled offensive side of the ball. Only a couple of coaches that were on the staff last year returned.
But you look at it, they got a bunch of other guys in here, and they're still playing hard.
Yep. Carter bounces it to the outside, lowers his shoulder, and he's down at the 43 after a gain of 6. Clock winds inside 5 minutes. So Eastern Kentucky, this could very well be a competitive team in the UAC this year, but tonight,
just overly matched.
Yep.
And that's what's tough, because you want to come in your first game, you want to make a showing, and then you come here and then you look at Shapen and how those guys played tonight, and they just played well because they wanted everyone to see what they were about.
we heard a lot of players in camp, and we heard it from, here's an interception. A flag, though, on the near side of the field.
Pick 6.
Are we going to take this one back all the way? Elijah Cannon to the end zone. 50-yard interception return if the flag doesn't nullify things.
Was that Cannon? But see, that's the same thing. You put your substitutes in, and they're still playing hard.
All right, so there is the turnover.
Eligible downfield player, offense. That penalty is declined.
count.
Play results in a touchdown.
There's your turnover.
They have scored in all 3 phases today.
That's right.
And so remember, you get to sign the turnover cowbell. Who's going to have the most signatures at the end of the year?
And you know what? He gets his signature on there. How many more games will he get a chance to go play? They get another signature. But you're right. They have scored on all 3 phases. Offense, defense, and kicking.
Hey, listen, he's the first one. We all remember John Hancock's signature. Sometimes just
you
be the
remember
first and the
one.
biggest. 56-7.
I can see the meat. Trying to run the outcut. He's sitting in the flat, playing cover 2, sitting in the flat, waiting on the ball. But you know what? I can just picture the team meeting tomorrow on the defensive meeting, and you recognize the guys that really play good. They say, "Oh, hey, pick 6 for a touchdown. Come on up here, Cannon. You're gonna give him something." You know, it's amazing.
The true freshman from Coconut Creek, Florida.
Coconut Creek.
In his Bulldogs debut, gets to ring the turnover cowbell for the first time.
Look at that cowbell. Look how big it is.
It's the size of his torso.
Oh, yes. Elijah Cannon, hey.
So we were talking to Coleman Hutzler yesterday, and he said, look, we're going to debut something special. It's not going to be a chain. It's not going to be a...
And they didn't know at the time.
Yep.
They didn't know anything about it. You're right.
And so it makes an appearance in the opener. With 4:07 to go, so they have scored on a pick 6. Of course, they've scored 5 offensive, making 6 offensive touchdowns, and then the special teams punt block return for a touchdown. Coleman Hutzler, it's a unique opportunity for him. Remember, he's the son of a coach, played his college ball in Northwest Vermont at Middlebury College. He comes back. His family was based in San Diego, so he starts working a couple of camps at USD. That's right.
Right, with Harbaugh.
He goes
then
to
he go to where?
He goes to Jim Harbaugh. He says, "This is what I want to do for a living. Can you give me any advice?" He says, "I might have a job
for you. Graduate and come back and see me."
So his first job was on that San Diego staff as a GA, follows him to Stanford, and he has worked for some prominent head coaches over the years. Morrissey falls on this one.
Bad snap, goes up over his head.
And so the pressure really on here for Eastern Kentucky. But Hustler spent the last couple of years on Nick Saban's staff as a special teams coordinator. You guys overlapped last year.
And like I said, he's got so much energy, and the team can feel that. It just seeps through that.
On 2nd and 24, EKU keeps it on the ground as we push deeper into this fourth quarter.
Well, you know another thing when you look at it, right here, Kevin, neither team has quit. Like, they're still playing, and no matter what the score is, at least they're still putting up a big showing, and they're still battling there. Because you can just sit down when you get a score like that and give up big plays or whatever, but they're still competing.
A lot of folks around this program, and the fan base largely as well, I think they wanted to see something very exciting from this team in game one of the new era, and they have certainly seen that. 56-point outburst for Mississippi State in the opener. Here is what's to come. We talked about getting off to a fast start, not just in this game, but how about from a season standpoint? Because next week they go to Arizona State, a team that'll be very competitive, but not much is expected, let's say, out of the Sun Devils this year.
But it's
Toledo.
just tough. You got to make that trip out there.
Absolutely. You come back home to play Toledo, and then your SEC opener is against a Florida team that got bruised by Miami earlier today. So it is critical for this Mississippi State team with a gauntlet that is soon to follow in SEC play. You saw 6th-ranked teams in league play that they will face. Can they get off to a strong September start?
If you play with confidence and guys start believing in one another, and you get off to a 4-0 start, there's no telling what you can do there.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
We'll take a timeout. Our final 2-minute timeout with Mississippi State with a gigantic lead in their opener.
2 minutes.
Big lead for Mississippi State.
Oh, come on, man.
Hold
Seriously?
on a second here. Let's not forget the television debut of my man Charlie Strong. How about the years you have spent in this league? You've won championships. You have played for Hall of Fame coaches. It's been quite the career to look back on, huh?
It is. And I coached wide receivers at one time. You see that? I don't know why I tried to do me like this. Hey, get me off of there.
Hey, welcome. We turned you to our side. Welcome to our side of the business.
You found my turtleneck. I got my white turtleneck on.
The signature turtleneck. Well, I want to highlight, how about this period, 03 to 09 at Florida. And the dominant defense that you guided, and that led to your first head coaching job at Louisville.
Yes.
You won a pair of national championships. What do you remember? What do you remember about just the battles in this league?
It's the relationship with the players that you built so much. And then you get to go in all these different environments. Even like here, we came here, I won here, and I got beat here. But it's so much fun when you go into enemy's territory and go win games. Oh, what a big run here.
Hey, listen, you're on our side now. We got you. You were with Saban last year. We got both of you on our airwaves this year now.
Exactly.
Your old friend Urban Meyer, of course, has been doing this for a while, but
it's amazing.
I can't wait to keep working with you over the next couple of weeks here. This has been a statement for this Mississippi State team today. The huge lead they scored.
Well, this has been fun working with you, Kevin. I mean, you're a pro at this, and that's why I kept telling you, hey, whenever I do something I shouldn't do, please tell me.
Well, the one thing you remember, too, if you had forgotten the cowbells, they're still in full force.
Yes, they are.
How about Michael Van Buren, by the way, the 4-star rookie.
St. Francis.
Yep. Is under center here.
It's over.
And for Mississippi State, clock starting to run down. It's a statement season opening win for the Bulldogs. They were certainly heavily favored in this one, but they displayed quite a bit in all three phases. Offensively, defensively, scored